Have you ever wondered why Pluto, once considered the ninth planet in our solar system, is no longer classified as one? In 2006, the astronomical world was rocked when Pluto was demoted to a dwarf planet, leaving many people asking, why? Was this decision right, or was Pluto unfairly stripped of its title? In today's video, we're diving into the heated debate that surrounds Pluto's reclassification. Do you think Pluto should still be a planet, or do you agree with its new status? Let us know what you think in the comments below. The Pluto we thought we knew. Pluto, once the ninth and final planet in our solar system, was a beloved celestial body for generations. It had its own little spot in our childhood imaginations, alongside Earth, Mars, and Jupiter. It was small, distant, and shrouded in mystery. But it was a planet, no doubt about it, right? However, in 2006, everything changed. Pluto was suddenly stripped of its planetary title, and the world collectively gasped. How could this be? Wasn't Pluto always a planet? To answer this, we need to go back in time to when this all started. For decades, Pluto's status as a planet was mostly accepted without question. It was only when astronomers discovered more objects in the distant reaches of our solar system, objects similar to Pluto, that the debate began to heat up. Suddenly, the old definitions of a planet didn't seem to fit, and thus, Pluto's future was placed into the hands of the International Astronomical Union. The question on everyone's mind was simple: is Pluto still a planet or not? This debate quickly became one of the most talked about events in the scientific community, and it sparked passionate reactions from both scientists and the public alike. But what did the IAU decide, and why did it lead to Pluto's demotion? In this video, we'll explore why Pluto is no longer considered a planet, the reasoning behind that decision, and whether it could ever return to its former status. Trust me, this is a fascinating story, and by the end, you might just see Pluto in a whole new light. The IAU's defining moment. In 2006, the IAU made a landmark decision that would change the way we view Pluto forever. The organization introduced a new, formal definition of what makes a planet. For something to be considered a planet, it had to meet three key criteria. First, it must orbit the Sun. Second, it must be nearly round in shape, a result of its gravity pulling it into a spherical form. And third, it must have cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. Basically, it must have enough gravitational influence to either absorb or fling away any other objects in its path. Pluto checked off the first two boxes without a hitch. It orbits the Sun and is spherical in shape, but it was the third criterion, the one about clearing its orbit, that tripped Pluto up. You see, Pluto's orbit crosses paths with that of Neptune, and there are other objects in the Kuiper belt, a region beyond Neptune, that share Pluto's orbital space. As a result, Pluto didn't meet the third requirement of the new planetary definition. This was a hard pill to swallow for many people. After all, Pluto had been part of our solar system's family for decades. How could it not be a planet? But the IAU was firm in its decision. Pluto's failure to meet all three criteria meant that it no longer qualified as a planet, and instead, it was reclassified as a dwarf planet. This decision would forever change how we categorize celestial bodies in our solar system, and it launched a wave of debate that still continues to this day. The Discovery of Eris. Before Pluto's demotion, our understanding of planets seemed pretty clear-cut. That is, until astronomer Mike Brown and his team discovered Eris in 2005. Eris is a dwarf planet located in the farthest reaches of our solar system, and it's about the same size, if not slightly larger than Pluto. This discovery immediately raised a lot of eyebrows and sparked a major question. If Pluto is a planet, then should Eris be one too? Eris is part of a group of objects called the trans-Neptunian objects, which are located beyond Neptune. Pluto is also part of this group, but it had always been the only one that was classified as a planet. The discovery of Eris, however, threw a wrench in that classification. If Pluto was a planet, then surely Eris deserved the same recognition. But the problem was that there were many other objects in the same region of space, similar to both Pluto and Eris, and it didn't seem reasonable to call them all planets. This revelation led the IAU to reassess how they defined a planet. In the end, they adopted the now famous definition that a planet must have cleared its orbit, meaning it should be the dominant object in its region of space. Since neither Pluto nor Eris could meet this criterion, they were both classified as dwarf planets. The discovery of Eris, in many ways, forced the scientific community to reconsider the very idea of what it meant to be a planet, and Pluto became the unfortunate casualty of that reconsideration. Public outcry and emotional backlash. When the news hit that Pluto was no longer a planet, it didn't just stir up the scientific community, it created a full-on cultural uproar. For many, Pluto had been a steadfast part of the solar system, and the idea that it was suddenly demoted felt like a betrayal. People from young schoolchildren to adults were devastated. The public simply wasn't ready to say goodbye to Pluto as a planet. Children in particular were upset. For years they had learned in school that Pluto was the 9th planet. Now, they were being told it wasn't a planet anymore. Astronomer Neil deGrasse Tyson, who was one of the most vocal figures in the debate, received angry letters from kids expressing their heartbreak over Pluto's demotion. Some even wrote messages calling for Pluto to be reinstated as a planet. The controversy over Pluto's status quickly became a topic of conversation at dinner tables, schools, and social gatherings. It wasn't just science, it was emotional for a lot of people. The emotional backlash wasn't limited to children. Adults, too, expressed their displeasure, often feeling that the IAU's decision was too harsh. Some believed Pluto had been an important part of the solar system for so long that it deserved to keep its planetary title, no matter what the technical definition said. The public outcry over Pluto's reclassification highlighted just how attached we can become to the things we've known and loved, even in science. Pluto wasn't just a planet, it was a symbol of our curiosity and wonder about the universe. For many, saying goodbye to Pluto felt like losing an old friend. Scientific debate. Despite the IAU's decision, not everyone was convinced it was the right call. Many scientists and astronomers questioned whether the new definition of a planet was too rigid. They argued that the IAU's definition failed to take into account important features of celestial bodies like Pluto, which has its own moons, a complex atmosphere, and even signs of active geology. Pluto isn't just a small rock floating around, it's a fascinating world, complete with a rich history and mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. Some scientists feel that the IAU's criteria for a planet should consider more than just whether a body has cleared its orbit. Shouldn't the planet's ability to sustain features like an atmosphere, weather patterns, or even geological activity be important? After all, Pluto's moons, including Charon, show evidence of tectonic activity, and its surface has been found to be much more dynamic than once thought. For many, Pluto's small size or its position in the outer solar system doesn't diminish its planetary qualities. One of the key figures in the debate is planetary scientist Alan Stern, who led NASA's New Horizons mission to Pluto. Stern and many others believe that Pluto deserves to be called a planet because it has so much more to offer than many of the other planets in our solar system. As Stern famously put it, a planet is a planet no matter where it is. And in many ways, this perspective calls for a broader, more inclusive definition of what constitutes a planet, one that focuses on the characteristics that make a world unique, rather than how much it clears its orbital path. The scientific community remains divided, with some advocating for Pluto's reinstatement, while others stand firm in the IAU's decision. This debate continues to fuel discussions about the nature of planets, and whether our understanding of the solar system is truly complete or still evolving. Pluto's enduring legacy. Even though Pluto's planetary status was stripped away, its legacy is far from fading into the cosmic void. In fact, Pluto continues to capture the public's imagination in ways few other celestial bodies can. Pluto might not be a planet, but it remains one of the most studied and beloved objects in our solar system. In 2015, NASA's New Horizons mission made history by sending back the first close-up images of Pluto, revealing a world of stunning complexity and beauty. New Horizons unveiled Pluto's frozen mountains, vast plains, and intriguing surface features, some of which appear to be relatively young in geological terms. The spacecraft's flyby also captured incredible details of Pluto's thin atmosphere and its interaction with the solar wind. These discoveries shattered our previous misconceptions of Pluto as a cold, lifeless rock. Instead, scientists found a dynamic world, possibly even with underground oceans and the potential for future exploration. Pluto's legacy is also tied to the way it inspired generations of astronomers and scientists. Whether it was the debates over its classification or the fascination with its enigmatic features, Pluto has sparked a passion for discovery. It's encouraged curiosity, inspired space exploration, and reminded us how much we still don't know about the universe. While Pluto may no longer hold the title of planet, it's certainly left an indelible mark on both scientific research and our collective cultural consciousness. The ongoing debate. So where does that leave us? Despite its reclassification, Pluto remains an important and controversial figure in the astronomical world. The debate over whether Pluto should be considered a planet continues to this day, and it's unlikely to be settled anytime soon. Some scientists are still fighting for Pluto to regain its planetary title, while others argue that the current definition is a step forward in our understanding of the solar system. But no matter what happens with Pluto's classification, it's clear that the conversation surrounding this little dwarf planet is far from over. Pluto has sparked a fundamental question in science. How do we define a planet? And more importantly, can our definitions evolve with new discoveries? As technology advances, our understanding of the cosmos continues to grow. Perhaps one day Pluto might be reinstated as a planet, or maybe we'll come up with an entirely new classification system that changes how we view the solar system. But until then, Pluto will remain an enduring symbol of how science is constantly evolving, always challenging our assumptions and pushing the boundaries of knowledge. What do you think? Should Pluto be a planet again, or does the current definition make sense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's continue this fascinating debate together. After all, the debate about Pluto isn't just about one planet, it's about how we understand the universe. So what do you think? Should Pluto be a planet again, or is its new title here to stay? The debate continues, but one thing is certain: Pluto will always hold a special place in our hearts and in the history of space exploration. Thanks for watching. And if you love discovering the secrets of the universe, don't forget to like, subscribe to Space Facts, and hit the bell icon for more adventures.